I'd like to start by thanking each and every one of you for all your positive thoughts and prayers that you've been sending towards Bear this week, whilst he's gone through not just one, but 2 rounds of surgery on his leg. I haven't been able to reply to everyone or even thank everyone individually for their donations, which is something that I've always wanted to do. However, with all the other horses back at home needing to be cared for, as well as having Holly away for the last 2 weeks, there just simply hasn't been the time. But please know that we're more thankful than you will ever know. The fact that you've managed between you in less than a week to raise just over £10,000 to cover the initial estimated costs meant that we could take him across to Rainbow confident that this was covered. As you'll know from the updates yesterday, there were complications that led to him having to return to the operating table and have the 3 lower screws replaced. Now, I always like to look for the silver lining, as I believe the world works in mysterious ways, and believe that this may have even been a blessing in disguise, as it allowed the team at Rainbow to take samples from his pastern joint, where they found the elevated white blood cells, which indicated a possible infection brewing. Jonathan explained to me how obviously they couldn't have taken those samples while the cast was in place, and obviously with that joint being secured by the plate, they couldn't access it. Now, he did have a good night last night and was more comfortable this morning than he was yesterday. He's been weight bearing on that bad leg, not all the time, but he is walking on it, which he couldn't do the day before. I believe he's very bright in himself, he's eating well, he's passing droppings, so that's all good. There is a little bit of swelling above his cast, but that's not surprising and it's nothing significant. Jonathan went on to tell me that as he was choosing to still rest his bad leg, the team had a bit of a brainstorm about how else they might be able to support him. And what they've done today is really pretty cool. Although I have to admit, when I first saw the picture, it did make me cry again. So this afternoon, Jonathan told me that the hospital had installed some time ago a very unique sling system. Ironically, this sling system was actually installed in the very box that he occupies over at Rainbow. So what they did was they took him out of the box, got him used to all the harness round his chest, round his bum, under his abdomen. It's a very, very complex setup, and it did take him a little while to get used to it, but he was really good. They put it all up in the stable so that he could get used to it above his head, because if there's one thing that he doesn't like, it's anything scary at height. Now, the idea of this sling system isn't to lift him off the ground, but once he was in the sling, he tolerated really well having his body lifted a little bit to allow his right hind leg to return to a normal angle, which then allowed him to put a bit of weight on both of his hind legs. If he can tolerate it, he'll be able to decide for himself when he wants to rest in the sling. So sometimes he'll carry his own weight, and other times he will rely on the sling. But he can still walk around, so although it's anchored to the ceiling by a big steel girder, he's still able to move and eat and drink. This really is the final thing that they can do at the moment to support his right leg and to give that left leg that's had the surgery some time to recover. There's apparently 12 attachment points on this hoist and another 15 to 18 on him. The main thing is obviously to see if he can tolerate it, and I believe, understandably, some horses can lose their mind, but hopefully that's not going to be the case with Bear. The idea is that this buys him a little bit more time to support him for at least the next few days. And if he turns out to be really happy with it, then maybe he can be in it for a bit longer. You know, there are some horses that can stay in this type of sling for weeks on end. There can be complications because obviously a horse isn't designed to sit in a sling. But this particular one is the world's leading piece of kit. It came from America and it's custom made for this particular type of situation. Obviously, they're going to monitor how he copes with it, so whether he'll be in it for 18 hours a day or 24/7, we don't know at this stage. What we do know is that Bear is one very, very lucky boy to have all of you behind him, both financially and with your positive energies. As I've said before, many horses don't get these opportunities, and to know that we can confidently ask the team at Rainbow to give him every bit of help that they have the resources to use is a true blessing. Yes, Rainbow is a long way from home, but I'm in absolutely no doubt he's in the very best place in the country to allow him the chance to get over this. Myself and Bailey will be heading back over to Rainbow tomorrow morning so that we can catch up with Bear and with Jonathan. Once again, thank you all so much for everything. I will, of course, get some video of him tomorrow. Whether he'll be in his sling when I get there or not, I don't know, but I'll certainly give you another update on how he's doing.